G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. But yes, you are here today because the greatest, most important test match of the year is just less than 1 week away. It's a mighty Springboks versus the #1 ranked team in the history of rugby ever, the Wallabies this weekend. Boy, this is going to be a huge match. Suncorp Stadium has already sold out. And it's going to be a daytime match, which strategically supports the Wallabies. It's going to be hot in the sun, as I proposed almost 6 months ago. And let's see how the Afrikaners cope in the cauldron that is the Suncorp Stadium, right in front of the Wally Lewis statue. I don't think the Springboks have a chance, and I expect nothing less than an absolute victory for the Wallabies. Now, Mr. Rassie Erasmus has brought his troops over a week now, and he has announced the men that will be charged with the privilege to represent the Rainbow Nation this weekend, and that the biggest surprise is obviously the youngster, everybody's favorite son in South Africa right now, Sacha Fangberg Ngomezulu, will be starting ahead of the two-time Rugby World Cup winner, Handré Pollard, in the number 10 jersey. Yeah, this is something that I was actually expecting in the second test against Ireland. But hey, Rassie Erasmus have to throw his big superstar in the future into the deep end. And he has decided in the cauldron, in one of the most difficult places for the Springboks to win ever, to give him the opportunity to show the world what he's made out of. Now, this is an interesting selection here because for the large part, outside of the number 10, the Springboks actually stuck to a pretty standard setup that you would expect, a very strong setup. And obviously with Sacha at 10, there's a little bit of versatility, changes on the bench as well, which is something, again, the Springboks loves that versatility, loves to have players being able to play multiple positions, like the greatest Springbok in the history of the Springboks, Damian Willemse. And yeah, we'll have to see how that's going to play out this weekend, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be a very Springbok style of rugby, and let's see who has been selected for this monumental occasion of rugby. Now, so first up for the Springboks, Ox Nche comes in at number 1. He has been pretty much set to the number 1 starting position since the start of the season. And it's interesting because a lot of people think that he's the greatest, the best prop, the secret weapon coming off the bench. People probably feel like he probably should be off the bench because of how potent he was at getting that scrummaging immediate penalty coming off the bench. But the man that's on the bench for him, Gerga Stennekamp, he has been unbelievable for the Bulls. He dominated the Irish internationals in the URC semi-finals, and I was so impressed by how good he was. And yeah, he's actually the most informed loose prop in South Africa right now. So despite name recognition will put Ox Nche the more dangerous person, but Rassie Erasmus is still playing the same game. He still has the better loose prop off the bench to try to squeeze out a penalty immediately, coming off with that impact play, that bomb squad setup. Number 2, Bonging Bunabi comes in for the Springboks with Malcolm Marx on the bench again. Francois Herba, number 3. Ibn Esbeth, the Rock, the backbone, comes in number 4. Ahia Sneymond, interesting selection, number 5, because he usually comes on the bench. Obviously, there's injuries to Franco Mostert. That could be the reason he's selected. In fact, that is the reason why he's selected here. Ahia Sneymond, number 5. Siya Kolisi, number 6. Sneymond, the reason I thought was a little bit surprising because Sneymond has been really good coming off the bench. Just bringing that physicality, bringing that mongrel, the Viking mongrel, really puts a lot of, lots of hurt to the opposition. But hey, he's number 5. Shows that Rassie Erasmus wants to load more of that pressure to the Wallabies up front straight off the bat. Number 6, the captain, Siya Kolisi. Number 7, Pieter-Steph du Toit. Number 8, Ardie Low. Interesting selection here for, again, they love have veterans. They usually have veterans at number 8, but it's interesting to see that they have opted for Ardie Low. Again, very, very good performer for the Bulls. And obviously, a lot of people probably felt that Hanekom probably deserved a shot here. Also another player from the Bulls. But yeah, he's definitely earned a spot ahead of Evan Ruiz, I think. But interesting to see that Huaga Smith is on the bench again. Again, impact play, being able to come to the bench and immediately lift the tempo, lift the speed, bringing that 7 speed is the bread and butter of the Springboks style. Coming number 9, Kolisi Sharks, having a bit more experience next to Sacha. Again, interesting to see that. I'm pretty sure Faf is injured. Is Faf injured? I actually think Faf's injured. So Kolisi Sharks is basically the next fastest, extremely fast, but the next experienced player on the in the Nine jersey. Something that Sacha needs to probably support him a little bit. Like I said, Sacha at number 10. Everything is pointing towards him. Rassi Rasmus has talked about the expectations for Sacha. He literally said Sacha is here to basically, they wanted to see him perform like Handré Pollard. So it's going to be the kicking game, it's going to be the goal kicking, and it's going to be the defensive prowess that Handré Pollard brings. We all probably remember Handré Pollard's defense wasn't probably that great earlier in his career, and he's really become much of a brick wall nowadays at 10. So that's something Sacha needs to work on, especially considering in the Irish game he let in a try. I think in the second test, maybe in the first test, he got stepped. Just something that needs to work on. So defense is probably the key that we'll be looking at this weekend. Curdy out inside, the Wildkard winner, number 11, hugely dangerous. Damien Dealenda defensively carrying the ball, absolute monster, number 12. Jesse Krill defensively, a lot of speed out wide, number 13. Number 14, Cheslin Kobe. Again, extremely good under the high ball, extreme just speed stud, someone that can create opportunities out of thin air. And the second playmaker, and probably the playmaker on the field, is number 15, Willie le Roux. He's going to be the guy, if Sacha is to get derailed, he's the guy that's going to make sure that Sacha stays on track. And he's going to bring in a kicking game. He's going to slot in at times as the second playmaker to take off that load of decision-making out of Sacha. Really, we're going to see Willie le Roux do a lot of the organization in the back line just to really helping out Sacha a little bit so he can just focus on some of the key areas in his defense, in his goal kicking, and on his, and the little bit kicking game that he will be expected to be doing as well. So that is a really good setup for the Springboks. And obviously, we know that the bomb squad, the bench, is probably the most important for the Springboks. Malcolm Marx already mentioned. Stennekamp already mentioned. Vincent Koch has been extremely good coming off the bench for the Springboks. A lot of some accusations that he bores in a little bit in the second half, but I think he's just technique. You get away with it. You get away with it. It's dark cards. If you can convince the referee that he's not doing it, nobody else can argue with that, because the only thing matters is the referee, and it's been really clinical in how he works those angles in that tight head position, especially coming off the bench, especially when you're not expecting, especially like you're used to against Francois Herber, who's more of a straight up, just size and solidity style of front row prop. And you have Vincent Koch, who likes to work at the angle a little bit more. Ben Jackson Dixon comes in, number 19. Number 20, Marco van Staden. Number 21, Huakerberger. Albertus Smith. Number 22, Grant Williams. Again, Grant Williams is pretty much identical in terms of style as Kolisi Sharks. Both are extremely fast runners. In fact, I actually said that Grant Williams is pretty much a carbon copy of Kolisi Sharks. They're both extremely fast, likes to run the ball a lot. They both can almost be a winger, the style that they play. So yeah, and then they both really don't play much of a kicking game like Faf de Klerk would like to do. But then again, it comes with how the game plan wants to play. Faf de Klerk does play a leadership role as well. When deciding like those kicking, it's not just like Faf deciding to kick the ball away. It's obviously directed from the head above. So if without Faf de Klerk, are these two guys going to be doing less kicking, or are they just going to be doing kicking game regardless? We'll have to wait and see to that. And finally, and this is probably the most interesting part, Handré Pollard, number 23. Not because, why would I not expect Handré Pollard on the bench when Sacha Feinberg is number 10? The interesting part here is that last time Handré Pollard was on the bench, they had to play 5-3 against England. I think it was against England. Against England, because they did not have someone versatile enough to cover the entire backline out of the bench, and enough versatility to have 6-2 on the bench when Handré Pollard is expected to come on to replace a 10. That was the issue in the Rugby World Cup. A lot of guys disagree with me, but yeah. So this is interesting, because the fact that Handré Pollard is number 23, it means that Sacha will go to 15 at some point in the game, and Willie le Roux will be off. So that's my prediction. I don't think they're going to just take off Sacha and have Willie le Roux play the full 80 minutes. We could see that. But most likely, I think Handré Pollard you will push Sasha to the number 15 jersey. Just give, again, this is just the versatility, that Damian Willemse style of versatility that the Springboks have, and something that the Springboks craves, because remember, the Springboks once upon a time had the greatest Springboks in the history of the Springboks, Damian Willemse, playing at 10, because they had this exact setup in mind. They wanted to have someone like Handré Pollard as a 10 to come off the bench, instead of having another fullback to be covering the 23 jersey. So this is, again, really, really good for Rassie Rasmus, something that he's been craving for a number of years now, and we can see this fruit come to fruition, I guess. So yes, obviously this weekend we have to, the Wallabies has already bribed the referee, so you don't have to, I can guarantee you. So the referees has been announced. We got all this money coming in from the line, so we'll bribe all of them, so you can forget about it. Especially, with in Brisbane, we got plenty of free beers for the referee as well. So yeah, let's have a look at the referee. It will be Mr. Luke Pearce from the RFU, who's really, really, I think he did referee the first test between the Irish games, so I thought it was pretty decent, not letting the game run away. And yeah, we'll see Luke Pearce again with Australia versus South Africa this weekend. But hey, like I said, we already bribed him, and we are going to sandpaper the ball as well. So just to make sure we're going to win the game, and something for everybody to complain about afterwards as well. And second game, Angus Garner, New Zealand versus Argentina. Next one, Andrea Piardi from Italy. Second game with Argentina. Second between Australia and South Africa is going to be Paul Williams from New Zealand. Again, we don't even have to bribe this guy. He's already part of us. He's already like old mate with us, mate. Don't worry. But he's probably got a second home here in Sydney somewhere, because of how much money we paid him. South Africa was in New Zealand. The first one in Johannesburg. It's going to be Andrew Brace from the from Ireland. Argentina versus Australia. Next one, James Dolman from New Zealand. South Africa versus New Zealand. The second game in Cape Town. Matthew Carley of the RFU. Again, really interesting selection. He's been yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. And Argentina, Australia, Pierre Brosset from France. Australia, New Zealand, Carl Dixon from the RFU. This is going to be a really, really tough one. This is Sydney. You better not screw it up, Carl Dixon. You better not screw this one up. I swear to God. Anyway, next one. Argentina, South Africa, Chris Riley. New Zealand versus Australia. Again, second test in Wellington. So interesting, New Zealand playing 2 games in Wellington this week. Sky Stadium. And New Zealand has a pretty poor track record at Sky Stadium. We're going to look at that in a minute. But yeah, 2 games in one spot. Is Eden Park getting renovated or something? I think there was some... Yeah, maybe someone can confirm this for me, because I'm very surprised to have 2 games in the same stadium for the Kiwis. I mean, if you ask, the one... Yeah, anyway. The New Zealand rugby isn't known to be the best at making money, so I don't blame them for making decisions like that. But yeah, the referee is going to be Nika. And final game, South Africa versus Argentina. It's going to be Ben O'Keefe of the Kiwi. So yeah, we're talking about this, Rassie Rasmus expectations. And obviously, there's going to be law changes to benefit the Australian side this weekend as well. So we have introduced new laws for the entirety of Rugby Championship, just to make sure we beat the Springboks. So the 20-minute red card will be in play. So a lot of confusion here. 20-minute red card applies to only like accidental legal moves that resulted in a dangerous play, like accidental head-on-head collision. There's still full red card to egregious foul plays, like if you punch somebody or if you abuse the referee. Like Dylan Hardy calling Wayne Barnes a fucking cheat. That sort of stuff, you still get sent off with a full red with no opportunity to replace. So the 20-minute red cards, if you get sent off, the player that's been sent off cannot return. After 20 minutes, you have to replace him. You do lose a substitution, but you are going to be able to play with the full 15 player on the field, full complement of 15 players on the field. If that was to be the case, there will be a shot clock introduced for everything: line-out, scrum, kicks or goals. It's interesting because the law has always stated you need only 30 seconds for the scrum, 30 seconds line out, 1 minute for a conversion, and 1 minute for a penalty, and 90 seconds, so a minute and a half for a conversion. This has always been the law. It's not something new. This has been law for like probably decades, and it's just something that's finally being enforced in recent times. to give fans a bit of idea of how much time it's got left, I guess. And this is there's two changes to the law, which I actually don't agree with, to be honest. One is if a crooker throw a line out, if the line out's not straight, and if the opposition don't contest, it's just play on. This is something that Rugby Australia has come up to make shit hookers look better. And second one as well, this is something that World Rugby introduced, that there's less contest against the halfback. So basically more protection for the halfback behind the rucks, behind the scrums. I get where they're going here, like to stop people from like, grabbing the hand of the halfback to disrupt the play, to keep the game flowy. But again, both of these laws are there to make shit players look better, right? Like, if you're terrible at your job as a line-out thrower, it makes you look better. Same thing. If you're a good halfback, disruption at the breakdown, never really an issue. If your team is good, it's just there to make shit teams look better as well. So yeah, it's just, I think it's just really poor decision, because both of these just discourages players from getting better, right? You're catering to shit performers, and it makes the players that are actually outstanding, that are actually put the effort in to make sure that they're good at the breakdowns, to make sure they're good at throwing the lineouts. You're diminishing their hard work behind the scenes. So I think this is a really stupid idea from the decisions. So there's a little bit, because of the halfback changes, where there's a little bit of variation to the scrum as well. So unlike before, the halfback is able to follow the ball as long as it stays behind the ball. If the ball gets pushed back in the scrum, you're able to just follow the ball, kind of just inch forward, and then as soon as number 8 picks up the ball, or the halfback picks up, we can basically jump on the ball, jump on them as the halfback. You basically can't do that anymore. You have to follow the law is that you have to follow the line where the tunnel. You can't go forward, and then we have to stay behind the tunnel. So the ball goes back, you have to stay back where the tunnel is. I wonder how this is gonna work if the scrum wheels. So then I guess you can move forward if the scrum wheels, and so you basically have to stay behind the no further than center line of the tunnel. So yeah, so if the tunnel wheels, doesn't mean you can go forward. Maybe. So we'll have to see how that's gonna actually play out. So you can either do that, or you can retreat back to your team. So again, reduces competition, reduces the contest. Just, yeah, I really don't like these laws. It's just like I don't know who thinks it's not entertaining to see a halfback get tackled and he drops the ball or something like that. I really don't know, because people that comes up with these laws are absolute fucking idiots, to be honest. Makes me angry talking about this. Let's move on. So the Fortress has been sold out in Brisbane, and the Springboks has a pretty bad run at the Suncorp Stadium. They only won 1 in 11 tests in the professional era in 2013. And again, even the All Blacks struggles to win at Suncorp Stadium. So this will be another challenge for the Springboks. There was obviously a lot of discussion as to why Will Skelton was not selected in the Wallabies squad. He has revealed, so basically, Joe Schmidt has revealed that he did talk to him, and the fact that Will Skelton, his season kind of like finished with, and basically he's in the middle of a holiday right now because of how the seasons are worked out. Because the rugby in Europe plays with the Six Nations schedule, so he's basically in holiday, and it's not really a typical time for him to be like ramping up his preparation. He's kind of like cool down his preparation, so he's not really something that fits into his schedule. But he did say that there's a potential that Will Skelton might be added in later into the rugby championship, because rugby goes for like 2 months championship. So there was some talks in South Africa that Kolisi, the king himself, will be returning to the Sharks. There was some talks to buy now his contract, which is around 850 euros. And so this is probably, there was some speculations that the South Africa Rugby Union was going to flip the bill, but it's probably not going to be. It's probably going to have the billionaire, what's his name? The billionaire that sponsors the Shark, the lawyer, I think he is, to probably flip the bill there if they really want Kolisi to come in, but there's a lot of positivity there. And finally, Tupo time, Tungan Thor will be signed to the Waratahs. Again, it's going to be under Dan McKellar. He's probably not even going to use him, because, Australian rugby thinks scrum's boring, but it's good to see that Tungan Thor is at the Waratahs, who we play next to Angus Bell. So really big there. The All Blacks now, Scotty Barrett obviously had a bit of a finger surgery, so Ardie Savea will be the captain this weekend against Argentina. And there was, I sort of talk about, Wellington has been a bit of a bit of a bummer place for the All Blacks. They haven't won a game for a number of years now. So they've drawn with Australia 2020, draw with South Africa 2019, draw with lost to South Africa in 2018, and then lost to Ireland in 2022, and back in 2002 they lost to England. The only time they lost to England, last time they lost to England was also, I'm pretty sure, was also Wellington as well. So it's not the greatest place for them. And they had 2 tests this year at Wellington, one with Argentina, like the second game as the Bledisloe Cup. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm very, very optimistic about our chances of winning at Wellington. Maybe just a draw. And if we win in Sydney, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, All Blacks also called in Harry Plummer as injury cover to the squad. Dr. Parmalee has signed a long-term extension with the All Blacks to 2027, which is really huge. A youngster, the future of All Blacks rugby. And Will Jordan, after returning from injury, played his first game at a provincial game where he scored a try. And apparently this was like the biggest turnout in decades for a provincial match to watch Will Jordan. I would turn out too. And next up, so bit of a news, final bit of news now. The RFU has sold the naming rights of Twickenham. Oh my goodness, this has triggered a lot of people. The world famous Twickenham Stadium has been sold for over 100 million euros, for renamed it to Ardie's Stadium. This is the first rebranding since 1909, but Ardie's Stadium is my backyard. It's literally the headquarters of Rugby Australia. This is where Waratahs play all of their games, and like Rugby Australia is literally here. So, apparently they moved Twickenham to my backyard. So England Rugby will be playing here in New South Wales, and so I look forward to that. I look forward to the Six Nations just down the street from where I live, Allianz Stadium, right? I mean. Anyway, moving on. Finally, last bit of news. So Joey Carberry came out with a bit of an interview. Dropped a little bit of bomb last week. So he obviously had been dropped from Ireland. He looked very unhappy for a while. And he kind of, stated in Irish media last week that he felt like, quote, I don't think that I'm better. I do think that I'm better than the way I was treated. So yeah, he's basically saying that he thinks that he was treated a little bit unfairly. And I mean, the Irish team is a bit of a pressure cooker. You have to deliver, or otherwise you can get crucified. And it did look like a little bit for Joey Carberry under so much pressure for the Irish team. It is what it is. Billy Burns, another guy that got absolutely burned alive. It's interesting picture here, burned alive by the Irish media when he missed the touch finder in a Six Nation match, costing the team. It didn't, not even guaranteed to win the game, even if you do get the line out. But people blamed him for not finding touch on that, dying minutes, not able to find in touch on that penalty. But yeah, it's just very, very brutal realities at rugby in Ireland. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. I will do previews for the All Blacks and the Wallabies game when the full name released. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple. It should be tomorrow coming out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. Cheers.